What's up, y'all? Welcome to Lionshare Bookkeeping's Landlord CFO, where we like to talk about the truth behind real estate accounting, finance, taxes, back office, and automation. My name is Benjamin Day, and today we're going to talk about how real estate investing actually works. Now, first things first, when we're getting into this, I don't want to sit here and explain to you how to swing a hammer or find great deals on the MLS or any of that kind of stuff. What we want to actually begin to pull apart for you is, what does this look like from the money side of the equation? Like, what are we doing whenever we're actually getting into real estate investing, and what financial pieces do we need to have in play? I think this is something that gets covered a little bit, but it gets covered by folks who are really operations and marketing minded, and they're saying, hey, this is really simple, you can do X, Y, and Z, and it just kind of leaves you without any real information. What I'd like to do is walk you through the basics of real estate investing and talk about what financial pieces you need to have in play in order to have maximum success in this arena. Step number one in your investing journey is to decide to get started. Now, this really isn't about money so much as it is just like your mindset, and I'm not here to preach mindset at you. If you need that, go to a REI or find a coach. But this is a really critical part of the process that you have to begin to get committed to this journey. And that means, for me, a few different things. Number one, you need to decide right now that you're going to run this like a business instead of like a piggy bank. You need to make sure that whatever it is that you're hopping into, that you have like a dedicated bank account, that you're going to decide how you want it to be structured legally, that you have money set aside that you can begin to invest with. You could potentially lose if your deal goes bad for whatever reason. You're not taking any risks that you feel like are unnecessary. So you need to decide to get started and then make some key decisions. Do you have 10, 20, 30 grand to get started with investing? Or do you need to go do some wholesale deals first? Do you need to begin to create some additional income somewhere? We need to set up those bank accounts. We need a dedicated business credit card. We need to start building our team and our operations, do our networking, all that stuff. So that's our first step in this journey. The second step then is actually when you go and find the deals. And again, I'm not here to tell you how to find a deal on the MLS or do mailers or any of that stuff. But what I do want to begin to help you understand is that this is just as much a financial piece of the puzzle as it is a marketing piece. You need to have those leads coming in. You got to have that pipeline turned on, but you also need to have some sort of filtering criteria. Now, when I begin to put together filtering criteria for the various stuff that we do, for us, it all comes down to the end step, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, and actually stabilizing the property. What does it look like long term? But it also has to deal a lot with the purchase of the property. So when you're shopping for your first investment, you need to be crystal clear on how can you buy a property? What strategies do you have at your disposal? Are you going to buy all cash? Are you going to buy cash and use some credit cards like a crazy person? Are you using traditional financing? You have private money, hard money loans, anything and everything in between. What are you doing to actually secure that property? What does your financing look like? And how can you use that financing and buy a good deal at the same time? You don't just want to hop in. You want to make sure that you actually have all the pieces in place. So this is going to be a really critical part of your process. You need to begin to build your financial tool belt here up front on the acquisition side. Once you get these pieces in play, you can buy property forever as far as I'm concerned. And hey, listen, if you want to get more information like this, I want you to hit the subscribe button down below, give us a like, tell us what you think, tell us what you're looking for next, and we'll cut another video for you. The third step that we have is actually to fix and lease that property. Once you've bought a property, you've got the financial pieces in play, you need to actually make sure that it's fixed up and get a tenant in there one way or another. It's got to start cash flowing if it's going to be an investment. Now, this is where financially, we're really just talking about income and expenses. And there's all kinds of tax strategies that you can stack on top of this, but really, truly, before any of that, and that's kind of highbrow stuff that we can get into and piecemeal later, at the end of the day, you're going to have money coming in and you need to know how to spend it. So from a financial perspective, you need to make sure that you have a leasing system, a rent collection system in play. Something like a software like Tenant Cloud, which we have a link to below, or maybe you're going to use QuickBooks Online, maybe people are going to mail you checks, drop them off at your house, whatever it is. You need to make sure that you have a way to correctly record those and collect those. So it's not just enough to deposit them, but you also got to make sure, hey, Sally over on Main Street paid us on the 3rd She usually pays early. I'm wondering what's going on there. Johnny over on Elm Street paid on the 12th. He didn't pay his late fee, but he knows that it's due. We need to hit him back up. And then control your expenses. Where are you keeping all of that cash? And so, again, really critical that you have separate bank accounts from your personal life and your investment life, just so that you can keep track of the cash. You need to understand really like cool stuff like return on investment, cash on cash, but also you need to understand really practical stuff like, do I have enough cash for cash reserves? Do I have enough cash to pay for something if it goes wrong, or cash to pay for, my next property? And is that separate from what I am living on right now? And is everything okay? The last thing we want to do is get confused and spend money that we didn't actually have to spend in our personal life or in our business. So you got to really be sure in your third step here that whenever you lease that property, that the income and expenses end up in the right place and that you're tracking those appropriately. Step number 4 on our process then is to actually stabilize the property and repeat the process, whether that's actually going back and getting a cash out refinance to get all of your initial equity out so you can go buy the next deal or what have you. Now, what we mean here really is that anytime you buy a property, and we talked about this a little bit up front, is that you're going to buy that property likely creatively. Maybe not the first one, maybe not the second one, but at some point, unless you're just made of cash, you're going to start using other people's money in some way, shape, or form. And especially right now, you're buying these properties as creatively as possible, looking for value add opportunities. Now, this is where you can buy a property at a lower value than what it really is, and then increase that value so that you can pull your cash out. Now, if you're going to buy a value add property before you've added the value, that means that there's some things that you're going to have to get done. That means that the tenant that's in there probably needs to go, and you need to put a new tenant in that's paying market rent, right? Or it's something where maybe there's no tenant in there at all because the property's stripped down to the studs or needs to be stripped down to the studs. And we've got to fix all of this stuff and then put systems in place and then put a tenant in. And so we need to make sure that this property gets fully stabilized. You're getting the rents that you need. It's appreciated the way that it needs to appreciate. You've got the systems on autopilot, so it doesn't take you any time at all during the month in order to collect that rent and manage that property. Then you're really stabilized. You can prove that you're running a business and really get the most out of your investment at this point. And that's also when you become an absolute gem to your lenders, and they'd be more than happy to give you all kinds of money, build a long-term relationship with you, because you've proven at least once that you know what you're doing and you're willing to scale up and keep going. These are all of the financial pieces that you need to have in play if you're going to really begin to maximize your investment business. One tool that we really like to help with the fix and lease portion of this is Tenant Cloud. And you can find a link to Tenant Cloud down below. Now, again, we're going to make a little bit of affiliate money off of this, but that's only because we love this product. It makes it super easy to collect all of your rents and do the leasing and manage your team and the tenants with their maintenance requests for a very low cost for a huge number of doors. And it will connect to all the other softwares and systems that we know and love, mainly QuickBooks Online. It'll export all of your tenant invoice and information and rent rolls into QuickBooks, so you don't have to have a back and forth conversation every month with your bookkeeper about how things are going. Now, what I want to know is, what do you want us to talk more about? We're going to dive into all of this stuff, but what parts of the investment life cycle do you think we should spend more time on from the finance side? Where do you need the most help? Let us know down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the notes below for our links to our mini book, our web class, our free stuff, all the tools and tech that we like to recommend to real estate investors, and we'll see you in the next video.